This edition of the Rhode Island Spotlight is brought to you by Amica Insurance, a proud partner with the Izzy Foundation.
I'm going to pour a little bit in here, just enough to cover the bottom.
On a Wednesday night last month, Jonathan Brindle, the mad scientist, is teaching half a dozen kids to make slime. They vary in age and come from all walks of life. But if you take a closer look, it's clear they have something in common. These children are all patients at Hasbro Children's Hospital, many being treated for cancer. Just steps away from their rooms on the hospital's 5th floor is a place they and their families have found to be a refuge from the world of testing and treatment. The Izzy Family Room, which opened in 2014.
I think the beautiful thing about the Izzy Room is that everybody wants a space to get away from the hospital room.
Aaron Scott is the executive director of the Izzy Foundation, formed 8 years ago to help defray the medical costs for Isabel Marie Wohlrab during 2 years of cancer treatment that would take Izzy and her family from Providence to Boston, then Houston to Germany and back. Her parents, Tina Robeson and Kyle Wohlrab, both doctors at Women and Infants Hospital, were inspired to create this space by their own experience with their daughter.
One of the hardest things for us here was meeting other parents or having that space where you could just kind of go and be parents separately.
So you're living in the hospital with your child, and we wanted a home away from, it is home away from home. It already is. So we wanted them to have a space they could feel like a home.
In Germany, we were in this small area where there was a kitchen. And we were with, I think 8 families, all of who spoke different languages for the most part.
All different.
And we met more people there than we had in our 2.5 years here.
3 or 4 days a week, parents can walk down the hall for a meal provided by a rotating group of corporate sponsors with the help of a cadre of volunteers. Sometimes their children come with them, other times it gives them a chance to get away, while being just steps away if they are needed.
They can have a meal, they can meet other families, they can get a cup of coffee, they can have a quiet conversation with their partner about the treatment and what's happening with their kids without their kids in the room.
Some kids look forward to joining in with their parents to vary the routine of hospital food. Or 2 social work interns will pack up food and take it to families in the patients' rooms down the corridor.
That's what the space is all about. It's creating an environment that like just lets you get away for a little bit. Just lets you be normal. These are kids who are normal kids who happen to have cancer, who happen to have some sort of life-altering, medical condition. They're still kids. And these are families still wanting to see their kids be kids.
Because of that, Scott schedules special activities throughout any given month. In February, it included a Valentine's Day gathering that featured a meal and an appearance by a princess who sang her favorite songs. There was also face painting just outside the room.
Has a perfect ratio of chocolate to chip to cookie.
Yeah, it's all...
A comedy night that not only had the kids laughing, but performing as well.
Scrape it off on the sides, Joseph, scrape it off on the sides. Not that side. I'm kidding, I'm just messing with you.
And the science night, which saw an increasing number of children arrive over the course of the evening as word spread down the hall.
As parents, we want to see our kids happy and joyful. There's something when you see a kid laugh, when you see your own kid laugh and your own kid like having fun at the comedy show or having ice cream social or doing the science thing or getting their face painted, it brings joy to a parent.
The room, which is available to the families 24/7, is equipped with things that parents might take for granted if they were at home. There is always coffee available. Snacks and toiletries are stacked in bins along the counter. The room also has simulated skylights throughout and a spectacular view of downtown Providence.
When we walked in, when it was first opened and finished, was a wow. And what it made us realize is that as a foundation, everything we do has to be a wow, because that's what Izzy is a wow.
And it is a sea of purple, Izzy's favorite color. Izzy was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer 2 weeks following her first birthday, after coming to the emergency room at Hasbro with a high fever.
I remember her oncologist looking at me and saying, "Tina, she's okay right now." And I remember Mom kicked in and I said, "She is not okay until this cancer is gone." And it was an interesting moment as an oncologist because I have remembered feeling that, and it's changed a lot of how I practice or what I say, and I understand it so much differently now.
So much of what the Izzy family room is today was inspired by the experience her family had in various hospitals. They watched their daughter learn how to walk, then talk in a medical setting. Izzy died in 2012 at the age of 3.5.
I think her attitude and that joy and happiness and just really true love of life and all the things around her really helped us just keep living that and living life. So we really didn't stop, right? We tried to say that this is now just our new normal. And the new normal is going to still be great. And we're not going to wait for it to be done. We're going to live it while it's happening, because that was our time, actually.
The best benefit is we weren't scared of the hospital. So when we took her in, this was a place we were familiar with because we spent most of our days there.
And I think what we realized afterwards was that we were lucky because she helped us do that. And we wanted to help others do that. And we knew that it's hard in a hospital. It's hard to remember how to live, and it's hard to laugh, and it's hard to cry. There's nowhere to do those things. And that really led us to thinking about, creating this Izzy Room and then ultimately Izzy Spaces that allow people to still live.
Scott also knows firsthand what it's like to have a child with cancer. Her son Zachary died at age 6, 2 years after he was first diagnosed. And she sees what other parents are going through with a different lens.
You watch your kid get diagnosed, you think it's maybe, an ear infection or something that doesn't feel right, the fever won't go down. You end up in the ER. The ER turns into an overnight stay, and you're hungry and tired, and you didn't bring your toothbrush, you didn't bring your toothpaste, and so that's why we have hygiene kits here.
Scott is a licensed social worker who also teaches at Brown University.
And it was because of Zach's life that I got involved in pediatric oncology and nonprofits in general. It's because you never want to waste your suffering. So Zach's life is so precious and so beautiful, and I am so blessed to be his mother, even to this day. He is what motivates me, and these families and these kids that I work with motivate me. But it's that suffering that I went through, I can't waste it.
The Izzy Foundation will soon be opening another space, this one on the 2nd floor of Hasbro, a surgical waiting room aimed at helping families cope with the stress of waiting out surgery for their children and its aftermath. It too features a massive window and will soon be filled with comfortable furniture. A kitchen will allow for food and a cup of coffee. And maybe most important, a private area for a family to meet with the doctor following surgery.
Because it is important that we give families the space to be able to process the outcome of a surgical procedure, whether it's good or bad, in a private setting. And so it gives doctors the time to be able to come into a room, to meet a family, to have a moment, to sit down and say to you, this is what happened today, and this is what we're gonna, the next steps are.
Izzy's parents are gratified by the volunteers who help make it work day to day, week to week, and month to month for the past 5 years.
I think every community has people who want to give and do something. And this is such a good, tangible thing to do. You see it. And everybody likes that. You can come and serve a meal, not only donate it, but your company can come and actually serve it. People like that.
And that their vision is playing out on the 5th floor where they spent so many days and nights all those years ago.
We never wanted to build just a space. Part of the agreement was that we would be part of the space forever, and that it would become something that was not static, but that could evolve with the needs of the families. And that was always the goal and the hope.
In Providence, Jim Hummel for the Rhode Island Spotlight.
You cool with that? Awesome. Okay. So David and Tim are going to ask you a few questions. and then we're going to base a lot of what we do tonight off of what you tell us. Does that sound good?